The Creation Nakshatras, Part 1, 0 degree to 13 degree 20 Aries, ruled by Ketu. Symbol, horse's head, ruling deity Ashwini, element fire, gender, masculine. Ashwini is the nakshatra of beginnings, charged with momentum, urgency, and pioneering impulse. It's the cosmic first responder, the spark that revives, initiates, and rescues. When Ashwini occupies angular houses like the 1st, 3rd, 6th, or 10th, its dynamic nature finds a field to break open. The nakshatra's influence in these houses, especially with key planetary placements, defines the native's unique way of manifesting creation energy, whether through invention, action, or urgent service. Ashwini in ascendant, Aries rising. When Ashwini rises on the eastern horizon, the entire identity is fused with forward drive, healing potential, and kinetic leadership. The person becomes a living ignition switch, never static, always in motion. Their sense of self is anchored in speed, intuition, and personal initiative. Sun in Ashwini here lends executive brilliance. They start movements or launch careers that command attention. Moon brings instinctive nurturing impulses. They heal through emotional presence, often drawn to emergency caregiving or intuitive counseling. Mars gives pure action, military entrepreneurs, first-line responders, or engineers. Venus creates beauty in chaos, restoration artists, trauma-focused designers. Mercury sharpens the brain for startup ideas and tech troubleshooting. Saturn, though delayed, brings institutional creation, founders of recovery centers, karmic builders of structures that endure. Ashwini in 3rd house, Aquarius rising. In the 3rd, Ashwini energizes communication, skills, and courage. The native becomes a restless multitasker with a gift for learning and teaching quickly. Mars or Sun here amplifies courage in media, tech, or military communication. War reporters, social media responders, or crisis journalists. Venus and Moon offer emotional resonance in storytelling, creatives who use hands, music, or craft to soothe or inspire. Mercury makes this a prolific writer or coder, launching ideas into products. Saturn adds grit, turning the native into an archivist, policy writer, or one who builds systems for knowledge dissemination. Ashwini's force here is to initiate messages that awaken. Ashwini in 6th house, Scorpio rising. Ashwini here steps onto the battlefield of service, disease, and competition. The individual creates order within dysfunction. Mars or Sun in this position suits military medics, rescue ops managers, or elite fitness experts, those who heal under pressure. Venus gives charm to caretaking roles, beauty therapists in rehab centers, aesthetic healers, or those designing recovery programs. Moon or Mercury here indicates mental healers, counselors, legal mediators, mental wellness consultants. Saturn lends long-range karma repair, builders of institutions that slowly cure systemic ills. Ashwini in the 6th crafts victory by initiating service protocols that transform. Ashwini in 10th house, Cancer rising. Here, Ashwini expresses its creation impulse through public life and societal contribution. Careers, status, and legacy are all arenas where action is taken before others dare. Sun or Mars in Ashwini here indicates fearless builders of new industries, entrepreneurs, public defenders, political catalysts. Venus may launch creative empires, fashion lines, media brands, or rescue aesthetics. Mercury creates public educators or tech strategists. Saturn crafts bureaucratic pioneers, architects of long-term reforms. These individuals don't follow paths, they build them, especially where systems have failed. They create visibility through impactful beginnings. The Creation Nakshatras, Rohini Nakshatra, 10 degrees to 23 degree 20 Taurus, ruled by Moon. Symbol, chariot, ruling deity Brahma, element earth, gender, feminine. Rohini is the fertile garden of the zodiac, where creativity takes sensual form, where beauty, abundance, and emotional resonance merge into material expression. It represents the power to grow, to attract, and to manifest. Wherever Rohini appears, especially in the 1st, 3rd, 6th, or 10th houses, it lends grace, magnetism, and a deep desire to build something beautiful and lasting. It doesn't rush like Ashwini, it nourishes. Its style of creation is emotive, seductive, and sensually intelligent. Rohini in ascendant, Taurus rising. When Rohini rises, the entire identity becomes infused with beauty, grace, and emotional magnetism. The native exudes charm and stability, drawing others in through voice, eyes, or demeanor. Venus placed here amplifies elegance and creativity. Singers, fashion icons, sensual healers. Moon in Rohini gives strong emotional intuition and storytelling power, crafters of narratives, designers of comforting spaces, or performers who embody feeling. Mars lends charisma, sensual dominance, and ambition, luxury restaurateurs, cosmetic surgeons, or fertility healers. Mercury gives aesthetic intelligence and business acumen, those who launch luxury brands or write in food, beauty, or romance niches. Saturn stabilizes this energy, slow but powerful creators in architecture, design policy, or long-term wealth planning. Rohini rising makes one a sensual manifester of creative value. Rohini in third house, Pisces rising. Rohini here gives expressive skill with hands, voice, and messaging, especially in emotionally rich, sensual, or artistic domains. Venus or Moon placed in Rohini here makes content creators, voiceover artists, food critics, or relationship columnists. Mars adds drive for performance, luxury brand marketers, erotic fiction writers, or speakers on intimacy and nourishment. Mercury offers elegant communication, romantic novelists, podcast hosts, or songwriters focused on emotional expression. Saturn creates meticulous artisans, craftsmen, perfumers, or traditional music composers. Rohini in the third brings emotional nourishment into skill-based storytelling. Rohini in sixth house, Libra rising. Here, the Rohini native brings softness to the battlefield of the sixth. The person creates healing environments in healthcare, hospitality, or HR sectors. Venus or Moon in this position turns conflict resolution into an art. Wellness coaches, spa managers, or therapists using food, touch, or sound. Mars initiates healing via sensual confrontation. Trauma healers, midwives, or reproductive health advocates. Mercury introduces creative thinking into routine, organizers of beauty-centric health platforms, or founders of design-centric workspaces. Saturn here makes quiet reformers, those who introduce feminine wisdom into bureaucracies or workplace wellness. Rohini in the sixth turns service into sensuality, structure into softness. Rohini in 10th house, Aquarius rising. Rohini at the top of the chart manifests as public elegance, visible creativity, and legacy through beauty or comfort. Venus or Moon here gives popularity, fame, or public adoration. Film stars, fashion designers, brand icons, or public poets. Mars provides ambition through aesthetics. Event curators, wedding planners, fertility awareness activists. Mercury engineers emotional intelligence into systems. UX designers, aesthetic strategists, or social media brand managers. Saturn makes the public expression more deliberate. Founders of cultural institutions, luxury real estate developers, or curators of traditional heritage. The native creates a kingdom where beauty and value are visible and sustainable. Rohini in the 10th crafts legacies made of sensual memory and emotional impact. The Creation Nakshatras, Punarvasu Nakshatra, 20 degrees Gemini, 3 degrees 20 Cancer, ruled by Jupiter. Symbol, quiver of arrows, ruling deity Aditi. Element, water. Gender, feminine. Punarvasu represents restoration, reinvention, and the return to wholeness. It doesn't create from chaos or urgency, but from a spiritual renewal, a second chance to do it better. This nakshatra brings ideas back from disintegration and rebuilds them with hope, devotion, and inner guidance. Punarvasu's creation impulse is quiet but visionary. It's the teacher, the reformer, the rebuilder. Wherever it falls, first, third, sixth, or 10th, it restores faith and offers solutions rooted in wisdom, morality, and gentle correction. Punarvasu in ascendant, Gemini rising. With Punarvasu rising, the self is expressed through radiant optimism and renewal. The person often carries a dual life path, falling and rising, failing and inventing anew. They're perceived as wise, kind, and full of second chances. Jupiter placed here makes them spiritual teachers, optimistic leaders, or societal rebalancers, those who bring back what was lost. Moon softens the aura, turning them into healers of emotion, soul counselors, spiritual poets, or child development specialists. Mercury enhances teaching and writing ability, journalists, educators, or curriculum designers who rebuild knowledge frameworks. Venus adds beauty to the mission, creators of healing art, eco-fashion, or social wellness content. Mars lends activism to reform, NGO founders or community developers. These natives are spiritual architects, quietly rebuilding broken worlds. Punarvasu in third house, Aries rising. The third house here becomes the arena for rebuilding speech, writing, and courage. Jupiter or Mercury placed in Punarvasu turns the individual into a restorer of lost voices, translators, memoirists, language therapists, or social commentators. Moon or Venus gives softness and nurturing to skill, child educators, gentle communicators, parenting bloggers, or storytellers for healing. Mars adds crusader energy, communication for justice, peace journalism, or motivational speaking. Saturn makes methodical creators, those who design second-chance educational systems or long-form knowledge libraries. Punarvasu in the third brings rebuilding through language, learning, and spiritual inspiration. Punarvasu in sixth house, Sagittarius rising. In the sixth, Punarvasu becomes a peacemaker in the trenches. This native creates harmony within conflict, especially through counseling, faith-based service, or restoration projects. Jupiter placed here gives healing mentorship, founders of wellness ashrams, coaches for ethical business, or mediators with moral grounding. Moon or Venus brings nurturing through conflict, therapists, nurses, or creative HR specialists in hostile workspaces. Mars initiates reform in toxic systems, public health crusaders, or animal rescue coordinators. Mercury adds design and detail, healing protocol designers, or editorial consultants. Saturn builds systems that turn wounds into routines, those who introduce compassion into government or law enforcement. Punarvasu in the sixth offers spiritual service through daily problem solving. Punarvasu in 10th house, Leo rising. Publicly, Punarvasu in the 10th crafts a career around redemption, teaching, and revisioning. Jupiter placed here makes educators, lawmakers, or ethical visionaries, those who restore meaning to institutions. Moon lends emotional resonance, founders of public welfare initiatives, documentary filmmakers, or leaders in mental health awareness. Mercury offers public speech and media as tools for repair, columnists, content creators, or voice-based coaches. Venus beautifies public expression, aesthetic activists, spiritual stylists, or cultural renewalists. Mars fuels determined reform, public interest lawyers, rights activists, or community mobilizers. Saturn grounds the vision into legacy, architects of lasting change in education, welfare, or ecological governance. Punarvasu in the 10th publicly rebuilds through faith, clarity, and gentle resolve. The Creation Nakshatras, Part 4, Magha Nakshatra, 0 degrees, 13 degrees 20 Leo, ruled by Ketu. Symbol, royal throne, ruling deity Pitris, ancestors, element fire, gender, masculine. Magha carries the regal impulse of ancestral continuity. It doesn't merely create, it enthrones. This nakshatra births legacy, authority, and structural command. Creation here is rooted in dharma, honor, and restoring lost grandeur. Whether through rebuilding dynasties, institutions, or personal authority, Magha always acts from a place of internal nobility. When placed in key angular houses, 1st, 3rd, 6th, or 10th, it drives the native to build foundations that outlive them. Magha in ascendant, Leo rising. With Magha in the first house, the native carries a sense of being chosen by bloodline, karma, or destiny. The personality radiates authority, pride, and often an instinctive desire to lead or protect tradition. Ketu as ruler brings detachment from ego, but a deep sense of service to lineage or legacy. Sun placed here amplifies sovereign energy, political leaders, royal inheritors, or visionaries leading with divine conviction. Mars adds executive aggression, military generals, commanders, or security entrepreneurs. Moon softens and makes the individual protective, caregivers of heritage, founders of cultural schools, or guardians of dying art forms. Venus channels creative legacy, patrons of the arts, cultural designers, or temple dancers. Mercury brings brilliance to their name, political strategists, media icons, or family historians. Saturn reinforces duty, builders of lineage systems, founders of family trusts, or those restoring lost names to prominence. Magha in 3rd house, Gemini rising. Here, Magha speaks through legacy-bearing communication. The person feels called to express tradition, identity, or family honor via voice, writing, or ritual performance. Sun or Mars placed here inspires confident communicators, traditional scholars, ceremonial speakers, or constitutional experts. Moon or Venus adds aesthetic skill, storytellers, griots, lineage poets, or documentary artists. Mercury sharpens communication with ancestral wisdom, astrologers, archivists, genealogy-based consultants. Saturn makes them methodical record keepers, builders of family trees, traditional lawyers, or those preserving oral traditions through disciplined platforms. Magha in the 3rd speaks with the weight of history. Magha in 6th house, Capricorn rising. When placed in the 6th, Magha brings honor into the battlefield of service and enemies. These natives create order and hierarchy in chaotic systems. They're karmic restorers, disciplinarians, warriors, or problem solvers. Sun or Mars here fuels righteous defenders, litigators, ex-military administrators, or powerful social enforcers. Moon or Venus brings cultural refinement into conflict, etiquette trainers, HR peacemakers, or charm-based fixers. Mercury becomes the tactical analyst, conflict negotiators, or strategy planners. Saturn empowers endurance and karmic authority, welfare officers, police leadership, or reformists cleansing toxic systems. Magha in the 6th creates dharmic control, even within dysfunction. Magha in 10th house, Taurus rising. Here, Magha manifests its most potent potential, to lead publicly through legacy creation. This is the throne-building position. Sun in Magha in 10th births, global leaders, cultural icons, or power-based CEOs. Mars asserts dominance through institutions, military officials, kings in uniform, or industrial giants. Moon or Venus draws admiration, stage performers, protectors of cultural tradition, or creative directors of ancestral brands. Mercury communicates authority, public figures in education, politics, or traditional media. Saturn endures the throne, political lineage carriers, conservative policymakers, or governance architects. The public life of the native is structured around visibility, legacy, and karmic leadership. Magha in the 10th ensures that what they build outlives them and honors the past. The Creation Nakshatras, Hasta Nakshatra, 10 to 23D 20 Virgo, ruled by Moon. Symbol, open hand, ruling deity, Savitar, sun god, element, earth, gender feminine. Hasta signifies skillful creation, where ideas take tangible form through dexterity, discipline, and service. This nakshatra excels at crafting, shaping, organizing, and bringing divine light into practical utility. Its creations are precise, healing, and aligned with conscious effort. Whether in the 1st, 3rd, 6th, or 10th house, Hasta lends hands that serve, refine, and build, turning creativity into sacred precision. Hasta in ascendant, Virgo rising. With Hasta rising, the personality appears composed, competent, and hands-on. These individuals express themselves through craft, meticulousness, and emotional intelligence. The moon as ruler adds nurturing detail, a strong capacity for healing, caregiving, and subtle emotional guidance. When the moon is placed in Hasta here, the native is intuitive with their hands, therapists, handcraft artisans, or physiotherapists. Mercury sharpens articulation and analysis, technical writers, strategists, or detail-focused educators. Venus lends grace, makeup artists, textile designers, or performance choreographers. Mars empowers functionality, surgeons, military engineers, or paramedics. Saturn gives discipline, orthopedic experts, heritage conservators, or those who protect sacred crafts. Hasta rising creates by aligning service with touch, skill, and insight. Hasta in 3rd house, Cancer rising. Here, Hasta animates the hands, speech, and learning style with elegant structure. Communication becomes a skill refined with repetition and rhythm. Moon in Hasta gives natural storytelling or therapeutic communication. Writers, spiritual authors, or caregivers using sound and movement. Mercury creates articulate messengers, podcasters, editors, crafts-based educators. Venus softens the medium, fashion bloggers, potters, or wellness influencers. Mars adds focus and dexterity, combat trainers, martial artists, or craftsmen under pressure. Saturn gives precision to practice, those who master tools, instruments, techniques through repetition. Hasta in the 3rd creates by honing communication into ritual and rhythm. Hasta in 6th house, Aquarius rising. In the 6th house, Hasta becomes a healing technician, serving through expertise and refined systems. It creates solutions through dedication to detail. Moon or Mercury here makes medical writers, speech therapists, or diagnostics experts. Venus adds beauty to service, nail artists, beauty therapists, or ergonomic designers. Mars makes medical responders or combat medics. Saturn crafts disciplined service experts, data analysts, lab managers, or therapeutic specialists with long-range goals. Hasta here crafts repair systems, people who heal others with structured expertise and mindful hands. Hasta in 10th house, Sagittarius rising. With Hasta at the top of the chart, the native becomes known for practical mastery, refined craft, or intelligent service. They rise in public through doing things well. Moon or Venus gives grace-based visibility, interior designers, wellness influencers, or stage performers with delicate skill. Mercury offers structured communication, brand strategists, policy writers, or functional aesthetic creators. Mars gives executive energy, leaders in service industries, logistics managers, or frontline response professionals. Saturn builds quiet credibility, precision engineers, archival specialists, or traditional craftsmen. Hasta in the 10th house publicly creates through the elegance of effort, the intelligence of hands, and the humility of real skill.